Brian Kelly catches more crap than any coach in college football, and maybe justly so on most occasions. But on this night, give the head coach his credit. He rallied his team. They kept their composure. They battled adversity on the road. And yes, LSU does start the season in week 1 this year. They do determine that they can win a game, a meaningful game, in the opener. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by for the best in discussion, debate, and analysis. We go live with you each and every night, Monday through Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, or post-game, as we will do here in just a minute. But first and foremost, we've got to do instant analysis for you. LSU comes back to defeat Clemson 17-10 in one of the two Death Valleys. The other one, the more prominent one, because LSU's got the bragging rights, and they will be returning home next weekend. We'll talk about LSU's path to a playoff, at least early season, in just a second. But let's get to this one, because it was the Clemson defense that was shutting down Garrett Nussmeier in the first half in that LSU passing game. And, of course, Nussmeier, much like a other early season Heisman Trophy candidate and favorite who played in Columbus, Ohio, not looking good in the first half, but Nussmeier figured it out, and so did LSU, because the defense for LSU much improved based on this performance against Cade Klubnik and that Clemson passing game. It was the Clemson defense, though, that made the plays in the first half that got them a lead. First at 3-0 when Avian Terrell popped it loose from Bauer Sharp, and Ricardo Jones picked it up and ran it down inside the red zone to give Clemson a field goal and a 3-0 lead. Nussmeier, again, off to a slow start, did not complete a pass to a wide receiver until the final play of the first quarter. But he finally did, and LSU moved the football to get in field goal range to make it a 53-yarder to make it 3-3. But Clemson back at it on defense, and finally the Clemson offense chipped in about midway through the second quarter with a 13-play, 75-yard drive, and much of that on the legs of Cade Klubnik, as he was able to break contain on a number of plays. And the LSU pass rush did not fill the lanes, did not keep contain, and they were not quick enough to go upfield and catch Klubnik on a number of quarterback scrambles. And then on 4th and goal, for the second time in the drive, Dabo Swinney said, "Roll the dice. Let's go for it on 4th down." Adam Randall and the offensive line for Clemson powered it in to make it a 10-3 football game in favor of Clemson. At that point, LSU came back with a big drive, 12 plays, 62 yards, and Nussmeier finally getting in the rhythm with his wide receivers on this one. He had a couple big scramble plays in which, even though that's not his game, he was able to make some good reads from the pocket and take off. However, with LSU at least in position to convert a field goal, they turn it over again. This time it was Ronan Hannafin on Chris Hilton. And again, the Clemson secondary very aggressive in taking the ball away twice in key situations from LSU wide receivers. And we had a 10-3 ball game at halftime. Second half, Clemson on the move. 2 contested receptions, 2 fine receptions out of Olsen Pat Henry, and the second guy we expected from Bryant Wesco. And that one was reviewed a number of times, and Clemson's wide receivers showed up at this point in the game. But they could not convert, keep the football, and put points on the board. Aaron Anderson gets into the action with back-to-back big plays, and Caden Durham cashed in, and suddenly, despite Clemson controlling the football game, having the upper hand on defense, creating those 2 big turnovers, and LSU making all those mistakes, not in rhythm in the passing game until the first drive, really, of the second half, suddenly we've got a 10-10 ball game. And then Cade Klubnik sailed it, and we may have found a star who's been tucked away in Blacksburg, Virginia, talking about defensive back Mansour DeLone, who transferred in from Virginia Tech, one of the many transfers that, at least on this night, may prove the difference in this LSU season, upgrading the defense significantly, sets up LSU with a 45 as Klubnik makes the crucial mistake and didn't make a bad decision on who to go to. The wide receiver was open down the seam. He just sailed it. And then Nuss to Berrien Brown, the Kentucky transfer, to the pylon. A beautifully crafted play, beautiful route, tremendous throw over the head of a wide receiver who was covered. Berrien Brown pulled it in. I thought it was a sure touchdown. Both announcers, Herbstreit and Fowler, thought the same thing. They weren't even checking. Was it a touchdown? Was it a catch? Was it out at the 1 yard line, or was it a catch? Well, the officials called it no catch. Ashton Hampton on the coverage. That was with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. That denied LSU of a key situation in which they would have tied the game there. They also missed the field goal. And then despite getting turned away by the officials, LSU comes right back and right down the field. And this game was changing in the third quarter from a Clemson-dominated game in the first half to LSU getting in sync on offense and Clemson out of sync, throwing the football downfield, and Nussmeier, boom, 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 down the field for a touchdown. And suddenly, LSU now leads the game at 17-10. All right, less than 2 minutes left in the game. Clemson continues to snarl on offense, but Bryant Wesco drops a perfect throw from Klubnik, who at this point was pretty shaky on most of his throws, was not sharp in the second half of this game, but threw a beautiful throw to Wesco, who dropped it. However, he converts, does Klubnik, to TJ Moore and to Tyler Brown on consecutive plays. Now, the LSU defensive scheme, trusting the cornerbacks, but they got burned on 2 consecutive plays, and there was no one to back them up once they broke tackles, and Clemson was able to shoot down the field quickly to the 21-yard line. However, the LSU defense stiffened, and then on a 4th and 4 play with the game on the line, LSU decided to blitz, and they blitzed the right guy. Harold Perkins, with a quarterback hurry, forced Klubnik to throw in desperation, incomplete. LSU finally wins an opener, 17-10 over Clemson. A huge win for this program in trying to break through to the elite again of college football. And for Brian Kelly's tenure, he's lost game after game after game, not only in these openers, but against top-notch competition. I guess somebody had to win this game because Clemson, this is becoming the theme of their program as well. Outside the ACC, can't win big games against big opponents. Clemson, after going 0-3 against the SEC, is now 3-8 since Trevor Lawrence walked off campus, and you could even count his final game in 2019 as another loss against the SEC. But 3-8 is the Clemson record as they have continued to dominate the ACC and be the top dog in the ACC by far, but can't keep up with the elites of college football, and we don't even know if LSU is in that place. But we will soon find out, as LSU will try to back up this performance against the likes of Louisiana Tech, then against Florida in Death Valley. Should be a great game of top 15 teams there. For Clemson, they get a bit of a tune-up here with Troy, but they dive right into ACC play in Atlanta against a Georgia Tech team that is coming off a mistake-filled game against Colorado, but one they won on the road against the Buffs. So that will not be an easy contest, but Clemson is going to have to bounce back quickly. Both teams have 2 weeks to get ready for big opponents. Your thoughts about Brian Kelly and LSU? How about Clemson and Dabo Swinney? 2 programs looking for the big win. LSU got it tonight in that other Death Valley. 10 p.m. Eastern Time every night or post-game right here at the Voice of College Football. Give me a call.